Good morning. Welcome to a special edition of Amador Live. I'm your host, Keith Sweet. On this program this morning, we're going to be featuring some of Amador County's activities and the people who helped put those together. We'll be talking about some places of interest in Amador County and some activities that we hope that you might be participating in the upcoming days. Joining me today will be Ed Arata, who's a board member of the Amador County Historical Society. Doug Ketron is a board member of the Kennedy Mine Foundation. Tim Murphy is a board member of the Sutter Creek Community Foundation. And Pat Crew, president of the Amador Community Foundation. And Lucy Hackett, president of the Jackson Business and Community Association. So we've got quite a lineup. And my first guest this morning is, on my left here, is Ed Arata. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Hey, thanks for coming on such short notice, actually.
I'm always ready.
Good. You've got a great project that's started, the Sutter Creek Fire History Project.
Right.
Why don't you tell us just a little bit about that, and then we'll get on to some other things.
10 years ago now, we started on a history program to commemorate the 100-year anniversary of Sutter Creek Fire District. We did a number of things. We rehabbed some old equipment. We got our truck out of the barn, cleaned it up. We have recently given it a home in Amador City. And one of the main things that you and others may have seen is the history paper that we created at that time based on the research that we did to give people a quick overview of Sutter Creek Fire Department since the late 1860s.
Now, where can people get that?
Mainly it's distributed where we have events. We have some at the Community Visitor Center in Sutter Creek is primarily where we've distributed it. Shortly, we will have a website up and running, and this will be on the website. Okay. People can look at it as a PDF.
Very good. There's a. Was that part of the magazine newspaper that was printed that's for sale around town?
No. That's a separate item that we did with, as you recall, with the Ledger Dispatch. They recreated the 1897 special edition, which was also done by the Amador Record in Sutter Creek. So we did this history based on a layout of an old-style newspaper.
You've been a lifelong resident of Amador County and obviously interested in history. Now, your position with the fire department in Sutter Creek is what now?
I'm their historian. I started out, I got drug into the fire department by a long line of family members, obviously. I was a volunteer in the 80s and 90s. I was on the board of Sutter Creek Fire District for many years, and now I'm their historian.
Just as an aside here, I know on the internet you post a lot of historical pictures on which website is that?
It's on Facebook. There's a Facebook page that's dedicated to Amador County history, and also, as you know, the Historical Society has a Facebook page where we post photos back and forth.
Right.
Right.
And that Amador County Historical Society is amadorcountyhistoricalsociety.org. It's a very interesting page, and we encourage you to take a look at that. Back to your fire history project.
10 years ago, we started this program, and we have reactivated it seriously at this point in time to finish up some of the stuff that we started talking about in 2006. We have a number of different things that we're working on. We want to display some of the equipment that we resurrected a few years ago. As I mentioned, we recently finished the Amador City Firehouse, and we now have the old 39 Dodge displayed there that people can look in and see. That fire truck is available for local events.
And that's the firehouse that's right next to City Hall on Main Street, Sutter Creek.
Amador City.
Oh, Amador City, I'm sorry.
Amador City. We have another project that's going on currently in Sutter Creek, where we are rehabbing the old firehouse, as you mentioned, next to City Hall. That will eventually be a museum, and we are using it as a workshop currently to recreate our 1920s Dodge fire truck that was built in Sutter Creek. When the fire truck is finished, it will be displayed in that building in the setting of a 1930s auto garage, because our first 3 fire trucks were built in Sutter Creek at either Cap's Garage, Oneto's Garage, whatever.
Very good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You having trouble getting parts for those old things?
We're just in the process of starting that. We purchased a couple of 1922 Dodge Brothers trucks from a gentleman in Sacramento. We have hauled them to Sutter Creek. We're sorting through the parts. I have a couple of very active volunteers who want to get the engine running on this pickup truck, and they're taking the steps to do that. So we're hoping within 18 months or so that we will have a representation of what we had in in the late 1920s.
So you're obviously going to be collecting funds for these. Is this a 501c3 organization, or is it through the Sutter Creek Fire Department, or how's this operating in case
Right.
you're doing a fundraising to try to put some of this stuff together?
We have some seed money to get started from a local donor. Several years ago, the Amador Community Foundation gave us money to rehab the Amador City Dodge fire truck and to do the firehouse project in Amador City. Recently, we've received a grant from the Rancheria Casino, and we have other grant applications currently out to fund this project. We will have a website shortly where people can go and look and see what we're doing, and they can, if they're interested, they can donate either by sending a check to the Sutter Creek Volunteers, which is a nonprofit, or there will be a PayPal account there where they can do a direct donation.
You brought some photos with you. Do you want to share what some of those are?
These are talking specifically about recreating the 1920s.
This camera over here, I think.
This is our first fire truck, shown on Eureka Street, probably built at Cap's Garage, the first Cap's Garage. And the guys had gotten tired of pulling this stuff around town, and automobiles were coming into vogue. So they put their equipment on an early Dodge pickup truck. You can see a number of volunteers in this photograph. The only one that we know is J.J. Kapitanich of Cap's Garage.
And that's on Eureka Street for people who are watching the Cap's Garage as it was.
We know where Cap's Garage is today on the north side of Eureka Street. The original Cap's Garage was on the south side of Eureka Street where the parking lot is today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he started there, then moved diagonal across the street. And then related to that is, again, photos of our original fire truck, but now we have the pile of parts that we purchased in Sacramento. We actually have some of the original parts shown in this picture. We have the basket for the hose reel, the nozzle, and part of the ladder.
So you're going to be reconstructing these one at a time, obviously, fire trucks.
Right.
In the Sutter Creek Fire Station, and it's a demonstration, so people can watch you working on them as...
Right.
Okay. Good.
I'm already getting a lot of interest in creating the workshop there. We have one of these frames and engines sitting there. There's a lot of people poking their head in and wanting to know what's going on, and actually that's how some of my volunteers have wandered in. What are you doing and how do I help?
There you go. The Sutter Creek Fire Department, I test your memory here, started when, and it's been ongoing since then, I am assuming.
The first record that we have of Sutter Creek Fire Department is 1869. It was strictly volunteer until the early 1900s when the fire district was formed to give them a better funding source. Up to then, like most volunteer fire departments, they were taking money out of their own pocket to pay for fire protection.
Things have changed considerably in the volunteer fire business.
Yes.
It's become a very professional organization now.
Well, it's becoming more professional, but also, as you know, volunteer fire departments are still doing their own fundraising. Jackson's going to have an event, is it this weekend?
It's September 5th, right?
Up at the Kennedy Mine. They're doing a fundraiser to supplement their funding also. So it continues.
Ed, we're going to have to wrap this up fairly soon here. This is an ongoing project. People can observe what's going on at the downtown Sutter Creek at the fire station,
Right.
and they can pretty soon, you'll be advertised in the website.
Right.
So they can pay attention there. And do you have any activities that's coming up in terms of a fundraiser type thing?
Not specifically fundraising, but we're going to be participating with the Days of 49, which you may hear more about later
on
today. We're going to have the Amador City fire truck out and displayed. People can look at us in Sutter Creek when the wagon train comes through. And then we're going to have a booth and display in Jackson as part of that event.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We'll be
Nice
coming
time.
back with our next segment with Doug Ketron in just a moment.